If you're coming from the 2016 Week 13 NFL predictions video, welcome back. But if you're joining the program just for this video, welcome to another College Football Playoff Ranking Reaction. We're in Week 5 out of 6. The last one will be on Sunday, where we will find out the 4 teams that will be competing for this year's national championship. So the rankings came out tonight. This is the second to last one of the year. Right now, the top 4 would be the obvious. We're at 3. Alabama at number 1. Ohio State number 2. Clemson number 3. But the biggest question tonight was going to be, who was going to be 4? Was it going to be Washington? Was it going to be Michigan? Or was it going to be Wisconsin? And the committee decided to put at number 4, the Washington Huskies, which I agreed with. I kind of agreed with that one. Although I feel like some people think Michigan's probably is the all-around better team out of the 3 of them that we're talking about right now. So, based on my predictions, they kind of read my mind a little bit. Because in my rankings, I put Alabama 1, Ohio State 2, Clemson 3, Washington 4. Then they put Michigan at 5 like I did. And then Wisconsin number 6 like I did. Then in my rankings, I also put at 7 and 8. 7 and 8, I put Penn State at number 7. But I had Oklahoma at number 8. And I had Colorado at 9, Oklahoma State at 10. So the committee agreed with my entire top 10, except for Colorado and Oklahoma. That was the only thing they disagreed with me about, but that's okay. Here's why I think they put Washington at number 4 instead of Michigan and Wisconsin. Because Washington has only had one loss this year, and that was to USC. But the loss was at home. However, Washington proved themselves the last week against Washington State in the Apple Cup. They also proved themselves against Arizona State. They came out with anger, and they managed to score points. And I think its margin of victory could be an impact, but I think it's has little to no impact on it, as I kind of said a couple of weeks ago. But that could be what they thought, but I kind of doubt that. I think they just wanted to make sure that a 2-loss team didn't get in the playoff unless it really had to. And there was talks at the beginning of the year, could a 2-loss team make the playoff? I thought there could have been a 2-loss team that could make the playoff. However, they wanted to put all the 1-loss teams in the top 4 because they deserve to. However, this is the part of the show where we kind of go over a lot of scenarios. In fact, I basically said at number 9 and 10, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, they're needing a massive miracle. So whoever wins the Bedlam game is going to need a bunch of help throughout Friday night and throughout Saturday afternoon and evening. So let's just say that, I don't know, the committee it's not even going to touch the Big 12. So let's just say that we are down to 8 teams for 4 spots. Many think if Alabama were to actually, in the event that they lose to Florida, they can still get in the top 4. And I think that's the case. But I think Alabama's going to roll in this game. I think Alabama knows what they're playing for. I think there's no way they're going to look back. However, upsets do happen. I think Alabama would still be in the top 4. I think Alabama would go from 1 to 3. So it's either you're playing Washington or whoever can win in the Big Ten, or you're going to end up be playing Clemson in a rematch of last year's national championship game. So Ohio State is a lock, it looks like. Barring that the committee decides to, depends what the committee does with the conference champions. But I would put Ohio State in, and I put Alabama in. So those two, that's most likely going to be the national championship matchup that we're going to watch come January. So let's kind of go over some possible scenarios. Clemson plays Virginia Tech. The committee put Virginia Tech at number 23. Virginia Tech is not a bad team at all. Except I even think they have potential to win the game, but I think I said in the prediction video that Clemson would prevail in the end. And I said Washington was going to blow out Colorado. But let's just say in the event that let's just say only Washington loses. Then what do we do? Would they take Michigan, or would they take whoever won between Wisconsin and Penn State in the Big Ten championship game? But is there still a path for Michigan to get in? I think there is. I think if Washington loses or Clemson loses, I think Michigan's going to be in. Especially if Washington loses, that means Colorado would be the Pac-12 champions, and Michigan would have beaten 2 conference champions head to head. However, this could be here's the ultimate shame out of all this whole scenario stuff. Let's say Clemson and Washington both go down in their respective conference title games. Let's just say Michigan just climbs right back up to number 3, and they are set to rematch against Ohio State. And then at number 4 comes whoever wins between the Big Ten title game between Wisconsin and Penn State. Do you see what we have here? We have Alabama and 3 Big Ten teams in the playoff, if that plays out. And I think that is what's going to ignite a conversation to change this playoff system, because it is a busted system right now. Because basically what could possibly happen is we could have 3 Big Ten teams in the playoff. And think about it, 2 of those Big Ten teams didn't even win their Big Ten division to get to the conference championship. However, could the committee respect Colorado if they were to beat Washington? Could Colorado get in? I think it would be difficult for Colorado to get in because they lost to USC and Michigan, and they got blown out by Michigan. However, they led throughout most of the first and second quarter of the game. But I think it's ultimately coming down to 7 teams for 4 spots. Sorry, Colorado. Sorry, Oklahoma. Sorry, Oklahoma State. But your team's chance of making the playoffs are probably 0 at this point. That's just the truth of the committee. The system's busted. I know how you guys feel. I really hope the system changes soon. I wish they had a system where all 128 teams would have an equal chance of winning the national championship every year. Now, a question Nick was speaking came in earlier today. That if Washington... I want to make sure that you asked the question correctly, Nicholas. But according to what I was reading on the comment, it said, if Washington loses, are they out? Yes, they would be out. But in case you kind of got confused a little bit, because that sometimes happens with comments, I think you said if Washington wins, is there still a possibility they're out? Which the answer to that question is no. I think if Washington wins against Colorado Friday night, I think they're in. And that would eliminate the Big Ten from having 3 teams in the playoff, which is a possibility of happening, I said just a minute ago, if we went over that scenario. Well, that is going to do it for your Week 5 Playoff Committee ranking reaction. Like, subscribe to the channel. Comment your thoughts below on what you think might happen. Actually, wait, never mind. That's not it. I want to kind of go over the New Year's 6 situation. Because I had some people asking me what bowl game Wisconsin would go to, what bowl game Oklahoma would go to, what bowl game Oklahoma State would go to. Because there are still, even if you don't make the playoffs, you're still going to get a decent bowl game out of this if you're in the top 10. So what I think is going to happen is Wisconsin wins against Penn State, and Clemson and Washington both win. I think they would go to the Rose Bowl against probably Western Michigan. I think Western Michigan at this point will either go to the Rose Bowl or they will go to the Sugar Bowl. As being the top group of 5 team out there, West Michigan will get an automatic bid to a New Year's 6 game, which would be exciting to see them play a real team. It would be fun to watch. However, Navy is only 2 spots behind them, and they're playing in a conference championship game too. So if Western Michigan were to lose to Ohio, the driver's seat's open for Navy to make it to a New Year's 6. Just because the top 4 is what everyone's hyped up about, we can't forget about the group of 5, because there are teams too. So I'm sorry if I ended it there, but I just feel like the group of 5 teams, I think there's kind of, let's just say there's kind of, I don't know what to say. I don't want to say something offensive. Like, I don't want to say, not offensive, I don't want to say something wrong. I just feel like the committee is against this group of 5 teams. And I bet if Louisville was winning, I bet Louisville wouldn't be number 4 if they would have won the last 2 games. I think Louisville would be number 6 even if they were to have won those last 2 games. Even though Louisville's not a group of 5 team, they kind of play a schedule like a group of 5 team because they've only really played Clemson and Houston this year, and Florida State. Because I feel like the committee, what the secret is, I think they're wanting to get teams that will have their fans go out and buy tickets for these games. Because Alabama, they know Alabama fans will travel. Even if Alabama was a 2-loss team right now, I think they'd be in. Ohio State, they know their fans travel. Clemson fans traveled to the national championship game last year. In fact, they out-ratioed Alabama fans 3-1. And Washington fans. I feel like if Washington were to lose, they would put in Michigan over the Big Ten championship team. One, because they beat them head-to-head. And because Michigan fans will go out and buy tickets for this playoff game. Well, I'll leave it at that. Like and subscribe to the channel. Share your thoughts below. Share this with your friends, family, whoever. Share on your social media. I will see you next time. I'll have some exciting stuff coming up. Expect a Bowl Mania announcement come Sunday. It's going to be really exciting. I hope to get a lot of people in my Bowl Mania group. It's going to be a fun bowl season. I will see you on Sunday to talk about all that. I will see you then.